You could Google the death of the web sitting right here in Delhi, but seeing as you do like these holidays and we have no choice but to give them to you. So
absolutely. That's why I went. Cold, freezing country.
So what did you find out? Is the web dead or no?
No, let's find out from you. Do you truly believe that the way, first of all, I hope you do wrong, I'm sure you know this, that we all seem to confuse the net and the web as one thing, right? So you know the difference.
So browsers aren't going to be around too much longer.
No, but do you think it's true or not? Because a lot of people are saying we're using applications now, so we do everything without ever firing up the web browser. So does that make a difference? Do you think it's there?
Okay, where I think it makes a difference, I mean, I think that yes, some of your most common, the places where you go most frequently, the people who, for example, are using the Ndtv app now are telling us increasingly they're not logging on to m.ndtv.com anymore. It's much simpler to just get the stories by using the app. So that's the anecdotal evidence we already have.
All right.
Where I think you will still be using the browser is if you want to go to a site which you've never used before and you haven't downloaded the app for, you then tend to do it.
The other thing, you've said one thing right and one thing that is an add-on to it. So, you will have an app for something that you've already done for a long time, but you'll never have an app for something that is to be discovered. You'll always need the web browser to discover new things, go to new places.
Unless you're discovering, how do most people discover things on the web actually? They just simply Google it, right?
Right, so the search will always have to be web.
But it doesn't necessarily have to be a browser. I'm saying your search could be integrated into various apps. You could have a search integrated into the operating system.
Let me just put this right. There is no search app to date that is successful. It's just kind of...
But I'm wondering why.
It just doesn't work that way because the web is really what really works from it. The web browser came up to make the net actually search enabled, and I think it will continue. You'll see a lot of new stuff.
But am I saying that the browser is going to be dead? I don't think so.
It will just evolve, but it will evolve brilliantly is I think what's going to happen. The future of especially the mobile browser, completely different from a desktop browser, how it works. Then the desktop browser, how it's evolving, as we spoke about, death of the web. But for me, the most interesting part, how we'll be using things and never knowing that it's actually the web that is enabling it. Connected TVs, like the Google, Opera, and others.
None of this you could have told sitting out here, right? You had to go all the way to Oslo to find this out.
Obviously,
Opera doesn't exist in India. Opera doesn't exist in India. You never heard of Opera. Does anybody use Opera in India? No, they don't.
Largest mobile browser in India and the world
is Opera, right?
Is Opera, right?
So I'm saying you don't necessarily need to fly all the way to New York.
Oh my God! I mean, we're going into literally the R&D centers, and you're saying, "What am I doing out there?" My God! Next time I'm not going. I put my foot down. I will not go. And here's what happened: the greatest story to be told in Oslo.
All right, here we are, and where are we? We're in Oslo in Norway, the land of the midnight sun, the land of the Vikings. But that's not really the reason why we've come in here, even though I must say, I've been here for hours and hours and hours. First time we've even seen a little semblance of light. It's always dark out here. In summer, 18 hours of the sun. In winter, no sun ever comes out. But we're here, like I said, for a very different reason. This country is very famous for one company. A company that has shown the world that it can take on the biggest and the best. A company that really is taking on a new war. A company that is setting new standards. And it's right here in Oslo. Where are we? We're here at the campus of Opera, as you can see.
Now let's move to the area that they're being most aggressive. The mobile market, the mobile browser market, they have a lead which is almost monopolistic. With Opera Mini, they've taken that market by storm. Look at the amount of devices they're actually on. Oh, by the way, we have our flag too, Mera Bharat Mahan, happening here also. But coming back to the aggressive parts, Opera Mini, a most aggressive, very, very hardcore approach to getting into every single phone. Their core market seems to be mass market data enabled phones that are not smartphones. Why is that strategy happening? Is it good or bad for them in the future? We'll find out. Let's now explore Opera on the mobile.
Very few people know that the world's most popular mobile phone browser is the Opera Mini, and that it works on more phones, including low-end ones, than any other. That's because all the heavy lifting That is actually the downloading and opening of pages and images isn't done on your phone at all, but done on Opera servers in some locations far away from you. After it's processed your request for a web page, it then crunches that information into a very small data pack and sends it to your phone. The result? Even underpowered phones and phones with low memory can open and display pages fast. Very fast, as can be seen in this demo. It also makes it easy for phones with multiple operating systems and different hardware to all work the same way.
Opera Mini today has different skins for 3 different screen resolutions. It has a different layout for touch and keypads and the combination of touch and keypad type devices.
What is even more intriguing is the business model for this. How does Opera give away all this for free to the customers and still spend so much money on maintaining servers and other expensive equipment?
When we sell our web browsers to OEMs, handset manufacturers, gaming console manufacturers, TV manufacturers, our business model is a per license business model. Right. Then when we sell browser services to operators or others which has a transaction-based business model themselves, then we charge per active user or per transaction. So it's an active user / transaction-based business model.
Another problem that crops up is that when Opera doesn't work well on economy and underpowered phones, then people seem to blame Opera and not the phone. Isn't the company making mistake here by trying to do too many things to too many people?
What we're doing now more extensively and more in the future is that we're seeing ourselves working with a lot of the chipset manufacturers directly. We're working with them to try and optimize the way the software works on their platform.
Opera has recently taken the mobile browsing experience to a whole new level, with new features that have just been introduced, including pinch to zoom.
Opera seems to exist in every form factor you can possibly imagine. So, Opera for the desktop, Opera even for e-readers, Opera for tablets, which is a very interesting area, Opera for the handset and mobile and other devices, and then the final one that we know nothing about, Opera for connected TVs, like I've actually been fiddling around out here. This is an amalgamation of what you're watching, the shows that you're watching, the movies that you're watching, the music that you're listening to, and a very smart Opera software that is a browser and everything else that knows what you're watching and can actually automatically adjust to give you the best information. So let's now find out what I believe is the most actually exciting format from Opera into the future. Opera for connected TVs.
This is where the future of the web, TV and browsing may lie. A world which connects your TV to your online world. At its simplest, this may have an overlay of applications and widgets that can be called upon as you watch TV. The important thing is that the apps are aware of what you're watching on TV. Thus, if you're watching a movie and are interested in the soundtrack and want to know more about it or buy it, you can do it with just a press of a button. But apps on TV are not that exciting anymore. There's a new generation of connected TV that is now all set to rule. This is where the TV and the net are aware of each other down to the last bit and can offer amazing interactivity.
I think one of the most interesting things that are happening today is the schisma between native apps and web-based apps, W3C apps on mobile phones, in the mobile ecosystem. So we have native apps like, the native, Android apps or the iPhone apps, etc. And on the other hand, you have the free world, you have the standards-based, web-based applications. So this is the schisma today. So our bet is that the web will win there also, and we're pretty bullish about it, but this is the most interesting thing happening today, we think.
We will be able to do a lot more with controlling our TVs through gestures. Swing your arms to change channels and widgets, and pinch and move your arms to zoom in or zoom out. The widgets will also be context sensitive, as each TV program will have metadata that identifies it. Thus your TV will know about the show, the category, the actors, the director, similar shows and a lot more. Thus intelligent and aware widgets will appear on the site and not spoil your TV experience. Twitter out what you're watching and who all are sharing the same shows, catch up on the news about the show or the actors. Weather updates can come in silent mode or full screen, while YouTube, can go full screen mode to catch up the best of online and viral videos.
I think it can fundamentally change the TV experience, but it's not clear exactly what it's going to be, how it's going to change it. So I think there must be room to play there. So we're happy to provide the browser component to TV makers who like to experiment.